The governor is criticizing the president for climate change. When it comes to climate change, California Governor Jerry Brown says President Trump has no fear of the wrath of God. Our country is divided between the red states and the green states, an increasing part since the election of President Donald Trump. And some green states are strengthening their resistance to the president. Most prominently, California, the country's greenest and most populous country, led by Governor Jerry Brown. Brown was once governor of California twice, the first time 40 years ago. He criticized the president for tax. California is suing the Trump government for health care, immigration, and air quality. But there is nothing more genuine in Jerry Brown than climate change. He criticized the president for denying science and aggravating the problem that Governor Brown says is causing California's wildfires. This is the most destructive fire in history in California. Governor Jerry Brown declared a state of emergency last week as fires were raging, severely damaged by Santa Ana winds, and eroded by dry bones that cost tens of thousands of lives. England and Southern California. Smelly smoke obscured Los Angeles can see from space. The fires that devastated California's famous wine country in October were the most dangerous state the state has ever seen. The whole neighborhood was burned. Doctors Jerry Brown. The fire season was used to be a few months in the summer, now it is almost year-long. These fires are unprecedented. We have never seen anything like it. Scientists are telling us this is the kind of thing that will happen, and we have to deal with it. It will happen, he says, based on science predicting extreme variations in weather patterns. This year, Southern California has undergone a record of heat in October and November, creating the perfect conditions for this. Governor Jerry Brown, nature is not a political game. Nature is the ground in which we stand, which is the air we breathe. The fact of the matter is that so much carbon is being released, heat is being built, the planet is heating up. And all the hells are breaking. Bill Whitaker, President Trump has famously called climate change a hoax. When he withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement, he said it was not a good deal for the United States. Governor Jerry Brown, it's a pretty silly idea, not even a fact in that statement. So, I want to say to Mr. Trump, looking deeper now is not the time to undo what every nation in the world is committed to. Bill Whitaker, are you scared? Governor Jerry Brown, oh yeah, you should. Anyone is not without looking at the truth. I do not think President Trump has a fear of God, the fear of the wrath of God, leading to a more humble. And this is a risk takedown for truth and for the consequences that exist that can be released. If he sounds like a Jesuit student, that's because he was one many years ago. Now he is a climate preacher, traveling the world, preaching the gospel of renewable energy in the Vatican, in China, where President Xi Jinping discusses cooperation with California on greenhouse gas reduction. Brown attended the Global Climate Summit in Bonn, Germany last month. He and former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg led a delegation of mayors and lawmakers representing 40% of the U.S. economy, while the official delegation of the United States, appointed by the White House, has shown to promote coal. Brown came to tell the world president that Trump was not talking to all Americans. Governor Jerry Brown, California does not have to wait for Trump. We do not wait for all those deniers. He calved California into fossil fuels to give us a glimpse into the future. Brown takes us to a 62-acre solar farm near Sacramento on the site of a downturn. Bill Whitaker, you want 50% of California's electricity generated by renewable sources by Governor Jerry Brown. By 2030, Bill Whitaker, minus 2030. And you, Governor Jerry Brown, and I think Bill Whitaker, think you'll beat it? Governor Jerry Brown, yes, there is no question about that. With the federal government acting on climate change, California is brimming with its trail. Bill Whitaker, what can you do, governor of a state in the United States, to fill the vacancy? Governor Jerry Brown, as governor of California, we have a commercial system and that is an effective way to reduce greenhouse gases. We have no duty to discharge. California is booming. Under Brown, it has grown from the 9th largest economy in the world to the 6th. It's now bigger than France with a budget surplus of more than $7 billion. Bill Whitaker. When you first came into office this time, California faced more than $50 billion in debt and deficits. There were headlines that California was going to be the first failed state. Governor Jerry Brown, the fact is we cut the budget, we raised taxes, and the economy roared back. Bill Whitaker, you cut the budget, you raised taxes. These days that sounds like a prescription for political suicide. Governor Jerry Brown, you gotta pay some taxes. You have to invest. We need to invest in the technology of tomorrow or somebody else will. And that somebody is China, India, and other countries. You're not gonna poor mouth yourself to the future and roads cost money. That's called taxes. R&D cost money, colleges cost money, schools, childcare, all of that. We're a rich country and we can handle it. But California's economic success has come at a cost. Housing prices are through the roof. So are the ranks of the homeless. A quarter of the country's homeless live in California. Governor Jerry Brown, this is not paradise. We have a lot of problems. But California is the engine of America. And I like to remind my fellow citizens, when you kinda look askance at this state, you're looking at one of the, not the only one, but a major contributor to the well-being of the whole country. California is vital to the national economy. That's why Brown is so angered by the new tax overhaul legislation being pushed by House and Senate Republicans. They call it a tax cut. But Brown says by eliminating deductions for state and local taxes it would actually increase the tax burden on high-tax blue states like California. He and other blue state governors say the bill is retaliation against Trump's opponents. Brown called it evil and divisive. Bill Whitaker, do you think the Republicans are intentionally trying to punish the blue states that didn't vote for President Trump? Governor Jerry Brown, I know this. The Republicans have this cult. Just like they believe there's no climate problem, they believe that cutting corporate taxes without any money to pay for it, they think it's magic. It'll make everything wonderful. Very irresponsible, very dangerous, but California Republicans say Brown's tax hikes are irresponsible. In Trump's America, Jerry Brown's California seems far out on the frontier. California doesn't look like the rest of the country. Minorities now are the majority of the population. It doesn't act like the rest of the country. The state voted to legalize recreational marijuana starting in January. Will soon offer a third gender choice on driver's licenses. Hillary Clinton trounced President Trump here by more than 4 million votes. Bill Whitaker, it seems that California is way out of step with the rest of the country. Governor Jerry Brown, I'd say we are more in tune with the future than many parts of the rest of the country. Bill Whitaker, you think the country is going to look more like California in the future? Governor Jerry Brown, I think it will. I was asking myself, why did Democrats in Ohio and Wisconsin and Michigan, Pennsylvania, why'd they vote for Trump? Not a lot of them did, but enough to give him those states' electoral votes. Bill Whitaker, and your answer? Governor Jerry Brown, there's more confidence here. There's less fear. People are looking to the future. They're not scared. They're not going inward. They're not scapegoating. They're not blaming Mexican immigrants. They're not blaming the stranger, just the opposite. It's a place that's alive. It's dynamic. It's a culture that's on the move, not pulling up the drawbridge out of fear and an economic insecurity. Jerry Brown is California's 39th and oldest governor. When he first held the office in 1975, he had a full head of hair. His father, Pat Brown, had been governor 8 years before. When you look at all the staid portraits of his predecessors in the Capitol Rotunda, it's obvious Jerry Brown is not like the others. Not many politicians spent 4 years in the seminary as Brown did in the 1950s. Or dated a rock star. He went out with Linda Ronstadt in the 70s. Governor Jerry Brown. I've seen a lot of different things. I've worked with Mother Teresa. I've spent 6 months doing Zen meditation in Kamakura, Japan, and I've run for president 3 times. I've done very incompatible things. Bill Whitaker, people who like you will say that that's evidence of intellectual flexibility. People who don't like you say that that's evidence of your being flighty. Governor Jerry Brown, well, I'm not gonna, that's that psychobabble. Whatever you call it. His far-out politics his first time in office earned him the moniker Governor Moonbeam. We found him to be down to earth. He's California casual at the office. His dog Calusa has TH.